Courtney, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Canelo, you a bitch. I'm putting it out there. No, I don't like to disrespect men that step into the ring, but then you fighting Kirtland that hasn't been in the ring since Glenn Tapia, when you have an opportunity to fight Demetrius Andrade for the WBO. Damn, I thought in the sport of boxing, people want to be a champion, to have that title. I understand you got De La Hoya, you got the promotion team, you got the money, you got the contract, you got the country, you got the country behind you, the fan base. But damn, you scared of getting into a fight. I thought you was the man. If I knew some Espanol, I'd hit you up with that too, but damn. Come on, man, stop playing. Like shit, man, all I want to do is fight, show people I'm the best in the world. I thank God for everything that comes my way, and every obstacle that comes my way, man, I know how to slip and slide in between, man. That's it.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So that clip you guys just heard with Demetrius Andrade, that clip was 6 years ago, believe it or not, when Demetrius Andrade was the WBO junior middleweight champion, and he was calling out the challenger, Canelo Alvarez. See, normally the way it's supposed to work, the challenger is supposed to call out the champion. But in this case, the champion was aggressively calling out the challenger, Canelo Alvarez. And Canelo Alvarez still turned down an opportunity to fight for a title. Instead, he waited for Demetrius Andrade to be stripped of his title, and then Canelo ended up fighting for that same belt against Liam Smith. Sound familiar? It should, because this is exactly what Canelo did for David Benavidez's belt. Soon as David Benavidez was stripped of his title, that's when Canelo decided to fight. He wanted to fight Abney Yildirim for the title, but because DAZN rejected that fight because they felt it was too much of a mismatch, he ended up going after Caleb Smith first. And then after getting out of a contract with Golden Boy, he still ended up fighting Abney Yildirim. So Demetrius Andrade has been chasing Canelo Alvarez for 6 whole years. Canelo, he moved up to 160. Demetrius Andrade moved up to 160, became a champion there. That's when Canelo said he's not going to fight him. Well, you know what? Let me put this in order. First, Canelo, he said that he wanted to unify all the belts at 160. But once Demetrius Andrade became one of those champions at 160, and Jermall Charlo became Canelo's mandatory, Canelo Alvarez, he decided to surrender his belt to Jermall Charlo and just move up to 168. Which brings us to the topic of discussion. So recently, Demetrius Andrade, he just announced that after he gets past Liam Williams, April 17th, he's moving up to 168. And he just said to fight somebody. He didn't say who he wanted to fight in particular, but he said to fight someone. Now, it's already obvious that Demetrius Andrade, if he's moving to 168, it's only going to be for a big fight. And we know he's not going to get a Caleb Plant fight because Caleb is waiting to fight Canelo Alvarez. On top of that, I'm sure Caleb Plant feels the same way about Andrade that Benavidez feels about Charlo, meaning they believe that Canelo would be an easier fight than a Demetrius Andrade. So who else is left? Of course, Andrade, he's not going to get the Canelo Alvarez fight. The only big fight that would make sense for Demetrius Andrade is, of course, against David Benavidez. That's the only fight that makes sense, and that fight would be bigger than any fight that Canelo Alvarez is going to be involved in this year. David Benavidez is the best super middleweight fighter in the world right now. It doesn't matter if he has a belt or not. He was stripped of his belt. He didn't lose it in the ring. And there's no doubt about it, he is the most dangerous fighter and the best fighter at 168. And this is the reason why. Andrade fighting David Benavidez would be one of the biggest fights of the year, hands down, especially as dead as this year has been so far. We all thought that Jermall Charlo was going to take the fight because Jermall Charlo, remember, was the first person to call out David Benavidez. He called him out like a year ago when he was fighting at 160. So if Demetrius Andrade decided to take this dangerous fight that Jermall Charlo didn't want to take, and let's just say Andrade wins the fight, that is going to put him in a position where he will have the type of options he's never had in his career. Regardless if Canelo continues to avoid him or not, it would put so much pressure on Canelo to take the fight that if he didn't take it, he would receive an enormous amount of backlash, for sure. For you to let Demetrius Andrade move up in weight and beat the boogeyman at 168, while Canelo Alvarez is still on his European tour, defending his NBF title, Canelo would be damn near forced to take the fight. And even if he didn't take the fight, it would make Demetrius Andrade look better. So I really think Demetrius Andrade, he should move up and fight against David Benavidez. Because David Benavidez is definitely Andrade's Canelo for now. Now, let me close out with saying this. For you Canelo Alvarez fans that love to try to compare Canelo Alvarez's opposition to Demetrius Andrade or a Charlo, you cannot compare the most avoided fighter to the fighter that everyone is chasing. First of all, Canelo Alvarez, he can fight whoever he wants, meaning if he wants to take on a big challenge, he can. If he wants to fight a complete cherry, he can. But when it comes to Andrade and when it comes to Charlo, they don't have those options. If Canelo Alvarez and Triple G weren't avoiding them, then they would both be on Andrade and Charlo's resume. So if you're going to compare two people's resumes, you should compare two fighters that are being chased by everyone, like Canelo's resume versus Gennady Golovkin's resume. Not against the guy that everyone is avoiding. That makes no sense. That's like me challenging you to a race, but then I tie up your damn legs so you can't go anywhere. And then brag about how I'm so much faster than you. It makes no sense. But this is the reason why it is so important for Demetrius Andrade. If Charlo is not going to do it, it's so important for Demetrius Andrade to move up to 168 and beat the most dangerous fighter in the division. This is not a situation where the belt even matters. Matter of fact, I meant to quote what Demetrius Andrade said in this interview, so let me wrap this up with that quote. Demetrius, he said, after this fight, I'll move up to 168 to fight somebody. He said, we don't get no younger, and we can't stay skinny and slim forever. We do put on weight, muscle, and mass. I'm a middleweight, and for me, a middleweight is from 154 to 168, but I can never get back down to 154, end quote. Okay, so when Andrade says that a middleweight is 154 to 168, it sounds like he's saying that he feels he's going to be extremely comfortable at 168. Let's see what happens. Once again, hopefully he moves up and he's fighting against a big name. I mean, who knows? Maybe he can fight Danny Jacobs first and then fight David Benavidez. Or go straight to David. We'll see how it plays out. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man ScalpCarolinas on Instagram.